And black people are rarely black. I see mostly various shades of brown and tan, and in fact, some light-skinned black people are lighter than the darkest white people. Look how dark the people in India are. They're dark brown, but they're considered white. May I see the color chart, please? People of color is an awkward phrase that obscures meaning rather than enhancing it. What shall we call fat people? People of size? I also don't say African Americans. I find it cumbersome and confusing. Which part of Africa are we talking about? Egypt? Egypt is in Africa, but Egyptians aren't black. They're like the people in India. They're dark brown white people. But they're Africans. So why wouldn't an Egyptian citizen who becomes an Egyptian who becomes a U.S. citizen be called an African American? The same would apply to South Africa. Suppose a white racist from South Africa becomes an American citizen. Couldn't he call himself an African American? If for no other reason than just to bother black people.
Is there a such thing as talking black?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh, good.
Just hang loose, blood. She's gonna catch up on the rebound on the med side.
What it is, Big Mama? My mama raised no dummies. I duck a rap.
Cut me some slack, Jack.
Some people talk one way when they're around black people.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're gonna do it again in 2024.
And a different way when they're in the comfort of their own home.
For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to party like it's on sale for $19.99.
Like, let's speak about Latinos not being black. Latinos are black.
Some of you guys be like, I know black, I know black, I know black. Impossible.
Latinos are black.
I know black. I'm Dominican. I'm Puerto Rican. I know black. Be looking just like me. Be having the same hair. I be touching it like, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Latinos are black.
She was always of Indian heritage, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
Indian people, we believe we are black people.
Indian people, we believe we are black people.
She happened to turn black.
You ain't black.
You know, when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
Once upon a time, there lived a little girl who had parents that did not identify as black. But one day, this little girl would go on to attend an HBCU, Howard University as a matter of fact, and later in life, she would begin to call herself black. Now, little did she know, before she became black, that she would one day be a public figure featured in the worldwide media. So who was this Howard University alumni that suddenly began to profess her blackness to the world?
Are you African American?
None other than former Spokane, Washington NAACP president, Rachel Dolezal.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
Race is one of those subjects that must be navigated meticulously because of how easily discussing race can devolve into a melee of misunderstanding. For instance, did you notice the way that the woman framed the question in such a way that race was at the root?
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman? Only on the ticket because she is a black woman. Because she is a black woman. Black woman.
She asked if Kamala's blackness was the only reason she was on the ticket. And Trump responded by saying that he didn't know that Kamala was black.
She was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black.
But then the moderator for ABC disregards the fact that blackness and race was at the root of the question being asked.
Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
They simply made it seem like out of the blue, Trump decided to talk about race, which isn't true. But there were many people who were left wondering why the moderator simply didn't ask Kamala whether she identified as a black woman, and what are her beliefs as to the criteria that made her black. Instead, it appears to be everybody else doing the explaining on Kamala's behalf. Did you hear the supposed black criteria that the woman gave to Trump?
Is she Indian or is she black?
She has always
But you know
identified
what?
as a black woman.
I
She went to a
respect
historically
either
black
one.
college.
Kamala went to an HBCU, as if there's no record of Indian immigrants taking advantage of HBCU perks by calling themselves black out of convenience. And if going to an HBCU is what solidifies black authenticity, remember Rachel Dolezal? She went to an HBCU. She also identified as black, but no one gave her a pass. So what's the difference? Some might argue that Rachel Dolezal is culturally blacker than Kamala Harris, considering that she chose a black man as a husband, gave birth to black children, and chose the NAACP as a career path.
Are your parents, are they white?
Hey, what happened?
5, 4,
3, 2.
So Janet Jackson, who we rarely ever really hear from, came out. She did an interview with The Guardian.
And then you have Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson sparked controversy in her interview with The Guardian after someone asked her to weigh in on the idea that America could be on the verge of voting in its first black female president, Kamala Harris. To which Janet Jackson said,
Well, you know, what they supposedly said, she's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian.
To which the interviewer responded, well, she's both. Then Janet got in some hot water for suggesting that Kamala's father was actually white. But let's think about it for a second. So the writer goes on to include an excerpt from Kamala Harris's book, The Truth We Hold. In it, she says, my mother understood very well that she was raising 2 black daughters. Okay, and what does that mean? How is that Kamala's mother identified as Caucasian on her birth certificate and her father identified as Jamaican on her birth certificate, yet there is nothing that shows that her mother believed that her children were from a different culture than the one that she raised them in? Now, granted, the 1923 Supreme Court conclusion states that Caucasian is not exclusively synonymous with white, but instead Caucasian includes an array of various cultures and phenotypes. But if black or Negro was available at the time of selecting a race on a birth certificate, why did neither Kamala's mother nor her father choose it? Yet, fast forward, and Kamala is black. The typical argument posits that though Kamala's mother is Caucasian, she is not white. But though Kamala's father identifies as Jamaican, that means that he is black, which makes Kamala privy to the black title through her father. But if Caucasian is not synonymous with white, why is Jamaican conveniently synonymous with black? Is it synonymous with black?
Yo, Wagwan, I'm a white Jamaican. What is the funniest reaction I've gotten when some people hear my accent for the first time? When I tell this special breed of person that I'm Jamaican, it's like I hit the reset button in the back of them head.
Is Jamaican synonymous with black? Absolutely not.